Only now did Xiaoyan finally understand. No wonder he had never heard any news regarding any Do Di. It turned out that those powerful experts had all been wiped out by the extraterrestrial evil races in ancient times. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, please consider supporting us through the donation PayPal. It really motivates us to keep creating. Continuing from before, Xiaoyan watched coldly as the heavenly evil emperor tore open a spatial rift and fled into the depths of the void. The violent turbulence of space swallowed his figure in an instant, and yet a faint, almost amused smile slowly curved at the corner of Xiaoyan's lips. He did not pursue. Instead, he merely lifted his sleeve and gave it the slightest wave. The next moment, a piercing, hysterical scream exploded from within the void, echoing across heaven and earth like a blade scraping against steel. "Bastard, what is this thing?" The furious roar reverberated through the shattered space. The surrounding void trembled violently as cracks spread like a spiderweb. From within those fractures, strands of black flame began seeping out, thick, corrosive, and filled with devouring intent. Then, a figure stumbled out from the collapsing rift. His entire body was shrouded in surging, demonic, aura-black mist, writhing around him like countless malicious spirits. This form was completely different from the dignified appearance of the ancient heavenly serpent ancestor he had worn before. Now he appeared as a white-robed man. But there was something deeply wrong. His body had no flesh, no blood, no tangible substance. He was not made of matter. He was formed entirely from condensed demonic energy. This was the true form of the heavenly evil emperor. "You damned insect!" he roared, his voice distorted by rage and disbelief. "What did you do to that body earlier?" His eyes burned with madness as he glared at Xiaoyan, the demonic aura around him surging uncontrollably. Xiaoyan only let out a soft chuckle, calm, unhurried, almost indifferent. "When I severed that arm," he said lightly, "I simply left a small gift behind." His gaze locked onto the heavenly evil emperor who had barely escaped from the void. Then Xiaoyan slowly raised one hand. A mass of black flames ignited in his palm. The aura was cold, silent, and filled with boundless, devouring power. The void-swallowing flame. Moments later, he lifted his other hand as well. Another cluster of black flames rose into the air. At first glance, the two flames looked identical. But the aura they emitted was subtly different. One devoured, the other annihilated. Two flames. When the heavenly evil emperor saw this, his expression changed drastically. In that instant, everything became clear. The severed arm, the hidden trap, the reason the demonic energy inside that borrowed body had suddenly spiraled out of control. It had never been an accident. It had been calculated. From the very beginning, he had already fallen into Xiaoyan's scheme. Seeing the twin flames rise in Xiaoyan's palms, the heavenly evil emperor instantly understood everything that had happened before. The severed arm, the instability within the body he had possessed, the sudden eruption of devouring power inside the spatial rift. It had all been part of Xiaoyan's plan. His expression twisted violently, but what followed nearly drove him completely insane. Space behind Xiaoyan began to distort. The void rippled like water, struck by an invisible force, and from within that distortion, an elderly man clad in black robes slowly stepped forward. His movements were calm, unhurried. On his shoulder, he carried the severed body of the ancient heavenly serpent ancestor, and in his hand he still gripped the arm Xiaoyan had cut off earlier. This was no ordinary elder. He was the flame spirit of the void-swallowing flame. The heavenly evil emperor's pupils shrank violently. So that was it. The moment the arm had been severed, the devouring power of the void-swallowing flame had already been planted within it, silently eroding and corrupting the demonic energy he relied upon. He had fled into the void thinking he had escaped. In truth, he had walked straight into a trap. Xiaoyan slowly raised his head. His eyes were calm, yet within them burned an icy, killing intent that seemed capable of freezing even space itself. A terrifying aura surged outward from his body, sweeping across the heavens. His voice echoed through the shattered void. Next, he paused for only a heartbeat. "Allow me to settle the score with you on behalf of the Doqi continent." The moment his words fell, the world trembled. Behind Xiaoyan's space tore open once more. A colossal, slowly rotating plaza emerged, ancient and majestic, radiating an aura that seemed to predate time itself. It was the Heavenly Flame Plaza. Upon it stood 26 towering stone pillars, arranged in solemn formation, each pillar etched with mysterious runes and flame patterns. However, only 7 of those pillars were currently occupied by blazing heavenly flames. Of the remaining 19, one was the void-swallowing flame, standing beside Xiaoyan in spirit form. The other 18 were still locked in a fierce battle against the devouring evil emperor, suppressing him across another battlefield. Though the Heavenly Flame Plaza's full power was not present, even at half strength, it was more than enough to destroy the heavenly evil emperor. Xiaoyan's gaze sharpened. He extended his hand toward the sky and roared, "Eternal ruler!" Instantly, the 7 heavenly flames atop the stone pillars erupted into the heavens, transforming into 7 colossal pillars of fire, each radiating a different color and boundless destructive power. Crimson, gold, jade green, deep violet, azure, pale white, pitch black. The 7 flame pillars intertwined in the sky, weaving together like divine threads. In the blink of an eye, they condensed into a massive 7-colored flaming ruler stretching tens of thousands of feet across the void. The ancient ruler radiated an overwhelming aura of annihilation. Flame patterns surged across its surface like living beings, and the mere pressure it emitted caused the surrounding space to fracture and collapse layer by layer. The heavens trembled, the earth groaned, and for the first time, a trace of genuine fear flickered in the heavenly evil emperor's eyes. The 7 heavenly flames erupted at once, transforming into 7 colossal pillars of fire in different radiant colors. They shot into the sky like divine spears, then twisted and intertwined in mid-air, weaving together with perfect precision. In a matter of breaths, they fused into a gigantic 7-colored flaming ruler that stretched tens of thousands of feet across the heavens. The eternal ruler descended like a weapon forged by the gods themselves. Terrifying flame power radiated from the ancient ruler in relentless waves. The surrounding space could no longer withstand such energy. Cracks spread outward, layers of void peeled apart, and entire sections of the sky began collapsing like shattered glass. Flame Emperor body. After summoning the eternal ruler, Xiaoyan roared once more, his voice shaking heaven and earth. The land beneath him answered. The earth began to tremble violently, as though some primordial force was awakening deep underground. In the next instant, massive fissures, thousands of feet wide, tore open across the surface. From within those abyssal chasms, white and crimson magma churned and roared like furious dragons. Then it erupted. Towering pillars of molten rock, thousands of feet high, surged upward with unstoppable force and rushed toward Xiaoyan, engulfing him entirely. The blazing magma wrapped around his body layer after layer, compressing and solidifying into a colossal form. His figure expanded at a terrifying speed. Bones of flame formed. Muscles of molten stone condensed. In the blink of an eye, Xiaoyan transformed into a gigantic magma titan that stood between heaven and earth. The Flame Emperor body had fully manifested. The eternal ruler, now equally colossal, was gripped firmly in the hands of this towering giant, radiating an aura capable of incinerating worlds. Seeing this overwhelming scene, the heavenly evil emperor let out a furious, almost hysterical roar. "You want to kill this emperor? Then I'll drag you down with me." Demonic energy exploded from his body without restraint. Endless black aura poured out like a tidal wave, swallowing the sky in darkness. The demonic energy gathered above him at a terrifying speed, compressing and condensing into a massive seal that blotted out the heavens. The seal spanned over 100,000 feet. Its surface was covered in ancient demonic patterns, each one radiating suffocating destructive power. The entire sky dimmed under its shadow. This was the Heavenly Evil Emperor's final move, his strongest attack, Heavenly Evil Demon Seal. With a thunderous roar, the massive demonic seal descended, crushing downward toward Xiao with apocalyptic force. Xiao narrowed his eyes. Inside the towering Flame Emperor body, his expression remained cold and resolute. Without hesitation, the magma giant tightened its grip on the eternal ruler and swung it upward with all its might, smashing it directly into the descending demonic seal. Then, the two forces collided. At that very instant, there was no sound, no explosion, no thunder, only silence. An absolute terrifying silence. The space between them collapsed, completely disintegrating into nothingness. Layers of void folded inward and shattered as if erased from existence. The sky seemed to cave in, and the earth beneath cracked apart under the pressure of their clash. It was not an explosion, it was annihilation. Tens of thousands of miles away, Kai Lin and the ancient heavenly serpent ancestor were forced to retreat again and again. Even at such an extreme distance, the shockwaves from the collision surged toward them like a catastrophic storm. The pressure was so overwhelming that neither of them dared approach within a 10,000-mile radius. The heavens shook. The great thousand world trembled. And at the center of it all, flame and demonic darkness struggled for dominion over existence itself. The shockwaves from the collision were far too terrifying. Even from tens of thousands of miles away, the aftermath surged outward like a world-destroying tempest. Mountains crumbled into dust. Space folded and tore apart in layers. The sky itself seemed to bend under the pressure. Even Kai Lin and the ancient heavenly serpent ancestor did not dare step within a 10,000-mile radius. At the center of the clash, a massive fireball slowly took shape in mid-air. It was not an ordinary flame. It was a condensed sphere of annihilation, formed from the fusion of 7 heavenly flames and the Flame Emperor body's full power. Its surface burned with 7 interweaving colors, each strand of fire devouring everything it touched. At the heart of the descending heavenly evil demon seal, a gigantic hole was blasted open. The demonic seal trembled violently. Cracks spread across its surface like a shattered mirror. Then, it collapsed. The once sky-covering demonic seal destabilized and exploded into countless fragments, dissolving into nothingness under the erosion of the 7 colored flames. Seeing this, Xiao expression did not change. He simply raised a finger and flicked it lightly. That small, casual motion decided the outcome of an ancient blood feud. The enormous fireball surged forward instantly and swallowed the heavenly evil emperor whole. Bastard you ants! The heavenly evil emperor's furious roar echoed from within the flames, filled with madness and unwillingness. But his struggle was futile. Under the relentless burning of the heavenly flames, his demonic body rapidly disintegrated. Layers of black aura were incinerated into nothingness. In just a few breaths, his body had been reduced to ashes. Only a single head remained suspended within the sea of fire, its expression twisted with hatred and disbelief. Before he could finish his curse, under Xiao cold, indifferent gaze, even that final remnant dissolved. The flames tightened, and the heavenly evil emperor completely vanished from this world. No trace remained. The ancient enemy who had slaughtered countless Dao Di and attempted to invade the Dao Qi continent had finally fallen. Silence gradually returned to the heavens. Xiao took a slow, steady breath. The magma around him receded as the Flame Emperor body dispersed, shrinking back into his original form. Though his aura was slightly weakened, it remained vast and steady, like a boundless ocean. He then lifted his eyes and turned his gaze toward another region of the sky. There, another colossal pillar of flame pierced upward through the clouds. The battle on the other side had also reached its conclusion. The aura of the devouring evil emperor was rapidly fading, dispersing bit by bit into the void, erased by the 18 flame spirits. Soon, it too vanished completely from the world. High above the battlefield, 3 figures stood suspended in mid-air. Cailin, the ancient heavenly serpent ancestor, and the void-swallowing flame who had already returned the borrowed body to its rightful owner. The violent spatial fluctuations slowly calmed. Then, the space before them rippled gently. A familiar figure stepped out, Xiao. Seeing him appear safely, the tension in Kailin's eyes finally eased, though concern still lingered. "Are you all right?" she asked, unable to hide the anxiety in her voice. Xiao looked at her and gave a faint smile. "Just some exhaustion." He shook his head lightly. The battle had consumed a tremendous amount of strength, but the war that had spanned tens of thousands of years was finally over. At that moment, sharp gusts of wind cut across the sky. More than a dozen figures streaked through the air, their auras flickering like dying stars. They were the purifying demonic lotus flame and the other 17 flame spirits. Compared to their usual blazing brilliance, their figures now appeared faint and semi-transparent, as though they might disperse at any moment. The battle against the devouring evil emperor had clearly drained them to their limits. The 18 flame spirits descended before Xiao and respectfully bowed. Without a word, they transformed into streams of light and merged back into his body. Their existence was bound to him. Their recovery, their strength, even their survival, all depended upon Xiaoyan's cultivation and vitality. Seeing that the battle had truly ended and there was nothing left unresolved, the void-swallowing flame glanced once at the ancient heavenly serpent ancestor before silently turning into a streak of black light as well, returning to Xiaoyan's body. As the flame spirits re-entered, within Xiaoyan's body, the once dim heavenly flame plaza began to shine again. One by one, the previously vacant stone pillars reignited with flame. The ancient plaza slowly resumed its complete form. At the same time, the void-swallowing flame began devouring the surrounding spiritual energy of heaven and earth, converting it into pure power that flowed through Xiaoyan's meridians. The weakness caused by the great battle gradually faded. His aura stabilized. His breathing grew steady once more. Only then did Kailin finally step closer. Her expression was calm, but her eyes carried lingering shock. "How did you know earlier that my ancestor was an impostor?" If Xiaoyan had not uncovered the truth in time, she might have opened the plain passage herself and led the heavenly evil emperor straight toward the Doqi continent. Xiaoyan gave a faint smile. "Just luck." But after a brief pause, he continued. He told her how he had previously rescued the people of Yuan sect, and how he had discovered traces of the ancient Void Dragon tribe on the relic continent. There had simply been too many coincidences, too many threads that did not quite align. Coincidences, when repeated enough times, stopped being coincidences. When he entered the spatial world earlier, with his strength as an Earth Supreme, he had immediately sensed something beneath the grand formation. Sealed below it were creatures emanating an extremely corrosive and sinister aura. That kind of energy, he knew it too well. They were the extraterrestrial evil races. The moment he sensed their presence, Xiaoyan realized something was wrong. If such beings were sealed beneath this place, then the situation surrounding Kailin was far from simple. Yet he did not reveal himself immediately. Instead, he concealed his aura completely and hid within the void behind her, observing in silence. From there, he listened to every word exchanged between Kailin and the so-called ancient heavenly serpent ancestor. And what he heard shocked him, because one familiar phrase kept surfacing in the conversation, a name he could never mistake, a place engraved into his very soul, Doqi continent. That single term connected all of his doubts in an instant. The mention of lower plane experts, the reference to the ancient Void Dragon tribe, the talk of opening a plane passage, everything pointed in one direction. Someone was trying to use Kailin to invade the Doqi continent. And from that moment onward, Xiaoyan was certain. The one sitting before her was no ancestor. He was an executioner from ancient times. And this time, Xiaoyan would not allow history to repeat itself. Those so-called lower plane experts, they had truly come from the Doqi continent. And the ancient Void Dragon tribe mentioned in the conversation was not some distant namesake. It was the very same ancient void dragon tribe of the Doqi continent. At that moment, everything aligned in Xiaoyan's mind. Although the impostor had lied about many things, those 2 points were not fabrications. They were truths mixed into deception, carefully placed to make the lie believable. Before leaving the Doqi continent, Xiaoyan had already learned that many Du-Di experts had vanished into another world. A higher world. A vast world beyond imagination. Now that world had been confirmed to be the Great Thousand World. When he had first arrived here, he had once imagined, perhaps one day he would encounter those legendary Du-Di, or at least meet their descendants. After all, they were the pinnacle existences of the Doqi continent. If they had stepped into the Great Thousand World, how could they leave no trace? And yet, 2 full years had passed. He had traveled across continents, clashed with countless powerful experts, and even risen to the rank of Earth Supreme. But never, not once, had he heard even the faintest rumor about a Du-Di. At times he had wondered, had they never made it here? Or was his own horizon still too narrow to reach that level of history? Only now did he finally understand. It was neither. The Du-Di had indeed arrived in the Great Thousand World, but long before his time, they had already been slaughtered, erased in ancient times by the extraterrestrial evil races, an entire generation of peak experts buried in a forgotten war. After Xiaoyan finished recounting his deductions, the ancient heavenly serpent ancestor let out a faint chuckle. Heh. Although your understanding is not entirely accurate, you have already touched upon part of the truth. His aged eyes seemed to look far beyond the present, into a distant era stained with blood. Tens of thousands of years ago, the Alliance was indeed besieged by unsealed extraterrestrial evil races. The war that followed was beyond imagination. Heaven collapsed, continents shattered. Many Du-Di fell in that battle. His voice was calm, but beneath it lay the weight of endless sorrow. Unlike the younger generation of the ancient void dragon tribe who escaped to seek reinforcements, I did not flee for help. He paused briefly. I fled to preserve the bloodline of the heavenly serpent tribe. Together with several other experts, we broke through the encirclement in 4 different directions. Only a few of us survived. Xiaoyan listened in silence. He now understood that his previous speculation, though close, was not entirely correct. There was more to this ancient catastrophe than he had imagined. He clasped his hands respectfully toward the ancient heavenly serpent ancestor. Senior. His voice was steady yet heavy. What exactly happened in the ancient era? If you loved this story, please consider supporting us through the donation PayPal link below. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the best and most immersive video. We truly appreciate you being here with us.